What up? I'm JR from JRVisual.com. I'm here with my brothers Montel, Skrilla, and D-Mar. And you're listening to the Talk 100 podcast. As we attempt to better understand the world, we link up, kick it about current events. Always making sure to keep it a buck. Check us out online at talk100.com, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Twitch at Talk, the number one, HUNNID. Thanks for being here on a Friday night and giving us your support. If you want to link up with us, be a part of the conversation, you can catch the live show on our website by clicking the live link in the navigation bar. Got to start off with a huge salute to our sponsors and the biggest supporters. New Leaf Home Solutions out of Waterford, Michigan, a premier real estate investment company which can help you make your dream home a reality. Also, serving the Metro Detroit area, Herbal LLC, a company which helps to draw awareness to responsible herbal healing and helping to diminish the harmful effects of opioid abuse in society. You can check their newsletter out every Monday morning at herbalrotation.com/news. Also, if you like live play-by-play sports action or live game recaps, make sure you tune in to Real Sports Time with D-Mar on YouTube and Instagram at real_sports_time all week long. Like it, subscribe it, share it with your friends, and we'll be right back.
You are listening to Talk 100 with Tim Skrilla, D. Murdoch, and Jay Raphael. Tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard
What up, fellas, what up, though? October 30th, 2020, Friday night. It's about 9:21 p.m. late, but always on time. You know how we do. Been sick all week long, Tail, man. I went up and ate some takeout, man. I pulled a D-Mar and, man, I've been sick for the last 4 days.
Well, I trust the people back there with no COVID hands, and I sprinkle all the love over and hope for the best when you eating this takeout food in 2020.
Hey, Red Lobster's supposed to be good, man. I only went for some clam strips. My goodness. But I did get a chance to dip in and out, even though I was sick, on the news and the front page stuff this week. Y'all gonna have to help me out tonight. We got about 4 days left to the election. You know I don't need to tell y'all that, but it's gonna be an interesting week this week with all of this, with all the conversations that I've been hearing back and forth. What y'all thinking? Who y'all leaning with to be the winner? Skrilla?
I think Trump is going to pull it out, man. He hasn't lost his support, and he's been gaining support, and we'll see, man. But I tell you what, man, if I was voting, man, man, dude, these Biden people and these calls, man, I'm up to like 3 a day, the text messages. I mean, I don't know how many numbers I blocked, dude.
Right. I thought it was just me, man. They got some new way that they can, even if you block them, they can call back from a different area code in the area and bug you some more. I'm getting tired of that too, man.
Yeah, they'll
Exactly.
just keep recalling. They'll keep recalling over and over again.
It's terrible.
They don't
Just
care.
to play with them, I was like, yeah, I'm voting for Trump. And the lady was like, no, she was like, oh, are you voting for Biden? You know, she said, can I count on you to, vote for Biden? I was like, no. She's like, are you voting? And I'm lying. I said, yeah. And she said, so who are you voting for? I'm like, Trump. And she was like, what?
I just been clicking on people. I don't
Just
even
like,
answer.
hey, you messing with me, I'm gonna mess with you.
Yeah, right. I text somebody back, I'm voting for Trump, so leave me alone, and they never stopped. They act like I was all on their team the whole time, and I needed to see the messages that they were sending me, man. It's crazy.
Exactly. I will say that they have been going hard, like, on that Biden campaign, man. So
What I look at is they spending a lot of money That's a lot of money to be able to do that, man. Every single person I know been having the same story. So that's a lot of bread.
A lot of, and not that's not even including what you get in the mail with those big elaborate 5 by 5, 10 by 5 postcards that we've been getting, man.
Yeah.
Front and side, front and back, gloss print. I mean,
Right,
I
right.
know how
Full
much that
color.
stuff costs, man.
Right.
And all I
UV.
do is rip it up.
Exactly. Waste of time. I've been seeing them on the streets too, just as much as I've been seeing plastic gloves.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I
that's just a
mean,
big time waste. Now I know we're gonna get on this interview with Puffy and Charlamagne a little bit later, but do you think that might have had something to do, like stuff like that got something to do with a lot of these other celebrities popping up and in support of the Trump campaign?
yeah, because a lot of people are like, man, well, how could people support this person and that person? I think it's a lot of like people that were already, I guess you want to say, closet Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
This is just things that I've heard from people that were celebrities, that spoke publicly about it. It's like it's just a popular thing to just say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Democrat," and da da da. But behind the scenes, their viewpoints are really Republican, due to just whatever business policies and different things like that. But a lot of people don't want to be honest with people and say, hey, I don't rock with the Democrats like that, So it's one of those things where I think everything is being pushed to the forefront, and things and people are being exposed. And um, personally, I like it because it's causing people to really look at the issues and talk about the issues and not just be so dismissive. Oh well, we don't care about what this guy, he got to go. Like, well, what policies do you like? Coming from either side, and I think people are being forced to really research and have dialogue with people that may have conflicting opinions or just viewpoints,
Mm.
and so we can hash those things out. That old voter die, that bull crap. I mean, you know, what are we voting for, and what are we expecting for our vote? Don't just tell me to register to vote and oh yeah, vote or die. So here it is again. Like you said, we'll talk about it later. To me, uncredible celebrities speaking on politics, and really they don't have a name that is honorable in their industry.
Yeah, that's a good point. What you think, D? Why you think we listen to these celebrities like that? Is it the money?
Well, my thoughts are it's I think people are worried about their platforms, and so they're saying things to do that, to enhance that and keep that going. Same thing like with having these verses, which that's okay. You found some way to still entertain and do your craft or whatever the case, and plus it entertains people because all these people sitting here on and scrolling through with their fingers online all day on their phone anyway, and so they know that you can't do these sold out concerts anymore and all this other stuff. But as it relates to these artists, athletes, whatever the case may be, with um, being involved in and starting to speak out on political things like with this election. Some of them have just personal intent. Everybody does, but to speak directly on them and what their intent it is. So it's not. I'll say this, in contrast a little bit to what Skrilla said. Some of these guys are getting tax breaks, and the bottom line, if you're saying something that you're doing what I want, just like typical people. What's overstated, I mean, what's understated is that most people are just selfish in reality. Don't care about none of these parties. Has nothing to do with that. People are selfish and they're looking out for their what's best for the overall picture for everybody. It's not what's outshine. What's best is I got 8 or 9 kids like Little Wayne, and what I really want. Thank you, Donald Trump. You mean to tell me you're gonna be able to wipe out and just tell them to somehow, some way, the Internal Revenue Service tell them instead of that $10 million that I owe right now, 50 Cent to, and a couple of these other ones. Oh, you mean to tell me you can just tell them, just let me just pay, $800,000 and it'll wipe it all out? And the bulk of it out so I can save some money, especially because this child support is killing me and all these other things, has nothing to do with understanding the policy. And just like some other people just said, who says that was even read? Like, for example, who says and who knows, not trying to, bring the brother down, talking about Lil Wayne, who says you even wrote that 1 page platinum plan? When somebody else says something to me, what's scary is, first of all, something that's serious. You got that all on 1 page? They tell us to condense our resumes down because they don't, HR don't, and managers want to skim over and they're going to talk to you for an interview. But something serious that you just decided to throw together, by the way, within the last 60 days, it's 1 page. That's supposed to be taken serious. And then, by the way, we don't even know that you read it, Wayne. So I know. If I have to guess, I'm looking at people's personal interests and why they're doing it. Either has nothing to do with either one of the classes. That's the only little bit of pushback I'll say to that on it being a closet thing of whichever side. It's just selfish interest, and that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. I mean, everybody is, but we're specifically talking about the celebrities and
Well,
why they doing what they're doing.
it makes me think about the tax issue that they've been talking about. I've been hearing a lot of the celebrities talking about Biden will raise the taxes immediately for anybody who makes over like $200,000 or something like that. Did you hear that one, Montel? And Trump is supposed to be cutting taxes for people. So I don't know. I mean, if that's true, then what you saying, D-Mar, make a lot of sense. The selfishness is you're gonna cut into my money. So, of course. Now, I also, another thing I got to check out this week was the protest in Philly. They jumped off again over the shooting of the 27-year-old Walter Wallace Jr. And I got a chance to check the video out. I don't want to play it here, but I don't know. I had to watch it again, just like we had to watch the last one, D-Mar, just to look at it after all of this, everybody get to talking. So after you see all of that, then you just look back and see if you got the facts correct. Now they said the guy had mental issues. I also think I read that he had the knife out before the police even got called, and that's why the police got called. The cops didn't have tasers when they showed up. That's crazy.
What did they have?
Well, they had their guns out, obviously, but they didn't even have tasers. According to an article, I think it was on CNN. And they said, the family said that the man was suffering from like bipolar disorder or some other, mental issue. But I didn't see that was like he was like diagnosed anywhere. I didn't see nothing that confirmed if that was true or not. So what y'all think about this, man? Like, it's another situation of where it appears that we are disproportionately being hunted down by the cops, and people are upset.
Well, I got another question for you, just because you was telling the story. What actually happened with that phone call? Did the mother make the mother, just for the listeners? That mother made the call to the police. What urged that particular last call to happen? It was issue there at the house.
Well, it was an argument. According to the guy who, I forget his name, but the guy who they got the video from, he told the reporters that there was an argument going on, and then Wallace came outside with the knife. So that's when the cops got called. So
Okay.
just looking at the footage, to me, man, he seemed real aggressive. He was coming towards the cops. If I was a police officer and I don't have a taser, what else am I going to do with somebody, coming at me with a weapon?
You're supposed to do what that officer did, man. He's supposed to get stabbed in the neck.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And let your comrades come and tackle them down. I mean, it's just the point of, you got a billy club, you got mace. Those are ways that you can tackle it. But from my viewpoint is, if they feel like their life is threatened, they're going to shoot, especially when it's one of us. And I mean, on one hand, I sympathize with the officers. no matter, whatever race they are, because they are out there they're trying to do a job, and they're putting their life on the line, and it's a stressful job. Um, just if even if you have good intentions, it's a stressful job. But some are more inclined to be more aggressive when it comes to us. You know, I know for a fact that they are trained to disarm people with weapons and different things without using deadly force.
Mhm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, that
um,
makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
now I haven't seen a video. I think I met my quota for the year of watching just
Well,
people be
hey,
gunned
I
down.
think after next week though, man, you might have to change that up. We still got a long way to go before 2020 is over with. 24 hours in the day. We got a long
Yeah, man.
time.
Yeah. I mean, from my own mental state, man. I just felt like I've seen enough, and quite frankly, man, my opinion is not going to change the way people police in America. This is one of those things, man, where either you allow government officials to do their job, or you go rogue. I
Well,
mean,
I
and
heard
and,
a,
and that's
Well,
I heard a lot of people real quick, D, before you go. I heard a lot of people or some people this week say that the cops wasn't called too. I heard that they
mm,
called the ambulance because the guy was a mental guy, patient or whatever. Um, I mean, I don't have nothing that confirmed that, but I've just been hearing that in different places on the internet, and that's I don't want to make it a part of it, but it's just some dialogue that's been happening. Now, is that the proper procedure if you're dealing with somebody who has some a disorder like that? Is to call the hospital?
well, yes, but in addition to him having a weapon, that's where they're once they arrive, once emergency medical technicians arrive, they're cautioned. Remember not to approach a scene once they get there, if they didn't know in advance that wait a minute, it's still a shooter there. It's still someone with a gun because then now their lives at risk. They're there to do the other part of it on the medical side. But if it's still a hostile situation, they got to stand back anyway. So I understand that, and maybe that wasn't a call there. Although, by the way, their radios kind of interchange to some extent. They
Mm.
could EMS as well as the 911. It to some extent, only depending on if they need to split the channels so different things. So all the and then know how to approach it uh in the right way. So that might have been the case, but once the EMS got there, they would have had to do the same thing too. So I'm not gonna say that point is irrelevant if somebody was saying that, but those how everything happened with ultimately the police getting there, that's what was gonna happen. What I want to understand is if he needed some help before then, and this is where, once again, health system in this country is failed. Where and I understand we're in a COVID season. See, this takes it to another level, and plus it gives a lot of people excuses. This COVID awards a lot of people to use it as an excuse to not do things and put stuff in place. But why? Like he needed to be committed beforehand because the other part of the story is, and the listeners and whoever else tunes in and checks us out probably seen it or know it. But the other part of the story is on the back end, and this is after Philly started rioting. Other things came out on this guy that he had been, and there was maybe the mental condition or whatever, but this is still what happens. He had been putting his hands on his mother and kid's mother, his baby's mother, like multitude of times and things like that. And again, there's bipolar, or if you have any other kind of medical condition where you can't control your temper, or you snap, or you go out of you don't have like a right mind and you're supposed to be on medication. Yes, that is the case. But just stating how this is, when you lay it all out, he should have been committed. And so, with that being said, and let's just say he is has a medical condition, but it's not that uncontrollable. And then you basically can look at it as, wait a minute. Still, he's hitting his mother. He's jumping on her. That's happened more and more. She's scared him. Obviously, she loved him. That's her kid. So she kept dealing with him back and forth. But then at the same time, scared of him. Me personally, I have an issue with that, medical or not.
What I want to
But
know is, are cops even trained to deal with patients like this?
no, they're just trying to try to detain a situation, obviously, and then the medical side, like he has to have a shot to sedate him, and then they can deal with it from there once he's awarded.
Because that's the first thing you got to do is disarm this guy.
But you
who's
got to
gonna walk
disarm
in front
him.
of the knife?
Yep.
Who's gonna take the first step? That's why the mace sound right to me. You know, one person have some mace, the other guy have the taser.
Let's gas him. Yeah, let's gas him up
But then he could
get
just
him
squeeze
down.
the knife and just get to going in a circle. You know how that go.
Wow.
Yeah, if they could have tased them, maybe, but if they don't have their taser, isn't that part of what they're supposed to have?
Yeah, it's supposed to be part of their back
also on
kit.
body cams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
body cams too, unless it's not required.
And that's a systematic thing. Like it's not their job to provide them things for themselves. So that's a systematic problem. And then if you look at the area, I mean, where they were standing and dealing with this, they were sandwiched in between these row houses, these Philadelphia row houses. You probably done seen them, and it's just not the best situation. You feel trapped in, and man. So I don't know. They probably was.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You know, mental illness or not, if someone attacked me with a knife, I might pop them too. You know.
I'm not trying to try to disarm nobody.
I mean, I hate to say it, but that's just what it is. But now I heard of a whole nother incident over there in Philly. This is what that kind of threw me off. I didn't recognize that. Now the report that I had got was that it was a young college student, hands on the wheel, got pulled over. He had his hands visible on the wheel, and he still got shot by the police. So I think there was multiple things that happened over there in Philly.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of.
Did he pass away? That particular person, or he in the hospital right now?
Was he killed?
From my understanding, he was murdered. And they let that police officer go. And that's how blatant that was. Yeah. So this is y'all talking about the young man. Well, I didn't hear that. That was the one that someone actually called me and told me about that. Well, they didn't call me for that, but we were discussing something else and that came up. And that was what I had heard about that. So and then I guess that's when the riot started. Because of the young man that was murdered by the police over in Philly.
Now, we've been dealing with all of these police. Before we go to break, we're dealing with all this police stuff with citizens, especially black citizens, and we're also dealing with people like this before we go to break.
Battleground. People ready, they say, to fight if Donald Trump goes down.
Because there's a lot of patriots that love that man, including myself.
John won't give his last name, but he's free with his opinions. He says America could be on the point of a second civil war.
If they try to steal the election from Donald Trump, that's going to be basically the trigger point.
He's preparing a fleet of off-road vehicles.
There's some thoughts about possibly mounting a gun on this.
Did you ever see the movie Mad Max?
Oh, yeah, my favorite.
But this is no entertainment. In a series of safes, John has an Aladdin's cave of military-style weapons.
You've got a lot of semi-automatics.
Among the least of the weaponry is a style rifle, standard issue for Australian troops.
The FBI says applications for federal firearms background checks are running at record levels, more than 30 million Americans so far this year, and the run on ammunition is so strong that where shops still have bullets, they're rationing them.
The NRA gun lobby jokes on Twitter that gun owners dance like Donald Trump when gun stores get new supplies. But John has been stockpiling for 20 years.
If there's ever a need that fellow patriots need ammunition, I have it.
He'll supply guns as well, he says, to patriots willing to take on
anyone that tries to destroy the Constitution and our rights. That's who.
And who do you think that might be?
Right now, looks like the left and the liberals.
and he says they will be easy meat.
We have a big head start on somebody who's just getting into the field.
Intriguingly, John says he voted for Barack in 2008, but those sympathies are long gone.
Complete with a Confederate flag?
Sure. The American flag is being washed right now. It got dirty.
John's 17-year-old son Sam is convinced Trump will not stand down if he loses the vote.
I think if it's rigged, he's not going to step down, and I don't think people are going to put up with it if they force him to.
Trump patriots are ready. Hugh Remington for 10 News First, Shenandoah, Virginia. Deep in Virginia.
No, I'm not worried. We're going on break.
Yeah. Instagram took over the system.
You are listening to Talk 100 with Tim Skrilla, D. Murdoch, and Jay Raphael. Tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What y'all thinking, man?
That's crazy. Simple as that. Now all of a sudden somebody can't get removed from a job. I understand what happened at the post office some years ago, and it happens at some job just on a lower civil level. But there's an excuse now for if somebody loses, and they're in the office. What he's saying at the end, I'm just talking about this last part at the end of what this guy said. He's not going to stand down, and he's going to step. Well, wait a minute. No human here is God in any office, it not even included at the highest office. Don't get to say after you did not win and be able to evenly get yourself back in office for a job, just like on any other other level. It's time for war because of that. That's crazy, and that's all I'm gonna say to that.
He said the flag got dirty. It's being washed right now. It got dirty. It made me think. So they said because Obama was in office, Trump is washing the flag now. So they got to use the Confederate flag. I cracked up about that. But these people crazy, man. It make me think about. We might as well just go right into it. This completely contradicts what Puffy is saying. In his interview with Charlemagne, where he's talking about. Let him do it and watch what we do, or whatever he said. You seen it, D. Like, what is he talking about? What do he think we're able to do on that level? We don't have enough, we don't have enough privilege to even have, enough ammunition and firepower like a lot of other people. I don't get it. I don't understand what they think. I believe that I believe it's the complete opposite than what Puffy was saying. Puffy feels that if Biden don't get in, it's going to be a civil war. I believe that if Trump don't get in, that's what will trigger them to be out in the streets and upset. They've already said that if they lose, then it's some trick that been played. Like they cheated, basically, with this mail-in ballots and all this other stuff. So I believe that that's going to trigger these kind of people to just go crazy. I don't want to go too much on this, man. But what y'all think? You think that you think Puffy got a point? D,
Puffy's main point. He was talking about creating a whole party of and doing stuff, being self-sufficient and everything. I know you brought out that the way it looked there, the way he did it from his house, it looked very edited and everything, but he was just trying to make the point of making a change basically as all black people is what he really was saying, and saying that, hey, black people need to definitely come together and just hold things accountable, whichever way it is. And like you said, it's between him. It's just a lot of rappers that are now doing what they're doing. So Ice Cube is doing what he's doing.
He said, Puffy said a few different quotes that stuck to me. A whole lot. Almost everything he said was kind of, I wanted more explanation. I know he probably can't provide that, but he said if we can't find a way to have black unity, we're on the verge of being extinct. That's one thing he said.
Oh yeah, that is something. Oh, I'm glad you reminded me of that. Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, he did say that. And just I don't know where that I don't know where he was tying that into. As in, right now, the biggest thing is some of the biggest things are where it is. Obviously, is the whole between blacks on prison and going to prison and things like that. I don't know what he mean on the other part of, is he saying what they're gonna get killed? Because to be honest, you got to bridge the other part internally with black people on not killing each other's. Again, those numbers don't freeze when it comes to that, just because that's not the forefront of everything else. See, what's going on in Chicago and going on everything else, that's not in the forefront of anything political. That's internally as a culture, that's a problem too. And those numbers of what happens on that end and the non-support with black people as a culture and all of that stuff, and all those young people dying with that gang stuff, that's actually a whole nother problem. So again, he absolutely needed to complete what he means by that, because it definitely is not just, well, like Skrilla said, he's had his quota for this year. He's talking about 4 or 5, and it's more than that might not even get reported as far as unarmed men by officer or whatever. But that is not going to wipe out black people as a culture. You got to talk about a bunch of issues. First of all, get this health together and find a way to control diabetes and hypertension and all this other stuff. And these young people in these gangs and the internal death or whatever else, all of that makes up a whole bunch of numbers that goes down. It's a couple of different issues we shift on, but people choose to focus on one thing, and that's another thing of what this is.
He said we're on the verge of a race war. He also said white people should be scared to death of Trump. A lot of what he said to me just sound like a bunch of emotional
that's what I'm saying. It's just,
and just like what Montel was saying, nobody who talked like him ever really discussed policy. Like, nobody brings up nothing about the policy. It's just a whole bunch of just emotional arguments. And even if you want to ride with them and agree with them, it's like, they don't really go into it enough, man.
Well, he has a full website and a full, which I glanced at, and it does have orders and policies in there. Same thing like Ice Cube. It has his outline in there.
Yeah.
The point is it going to get in front of people and get passed? No. It's an outline of that stuff in there. When he's directly talking to you, he's not going to riddle that stuff off like no politician. That's just not what he's going to do. Don't expect him to do it. LeBron ain't either. They're going to riddle off what position of things that need to change as an overall thing. And yes, they're going to express how they feel about what's going on in the climate, and then they're going to go from there. Now, if they already have a base and you already have that, and that's their whole point, then go to the other thing. I've gathered the intelligent people and people that's in place to do all this, and it's all put together. Just like if I started opening up a school, I'm not a faculty. I don't know how to run faculty. It has nothing to do with if I got the money to start a school and get the right people to do it. But first of all, you follow me anyway, right? Okay, then go over here and check out my charter school and put together. If I'm full of crap and I didn't put this together right, then leave me alone. That's their position. That's the whole point. He's not going to do that. So again, we got to measure where's the expectation of where we expect. Now, I'm not saying that to take up for Puffy. I'm saying in general when we do that, because just because you're not hearing it from whoever it is, because again, people pick and choose anyway. If they hear it from a social activist or they hear something directly from a teacher or a politician or somebody that's doing the actual thing, well, you pick and choose if you want to listen to it. Matter of fact, some people don't want to listen to it, because unless you're involved, unless you're really, really, that's something that you're passionate about, or that is a concern that you want to directly address, that you'll somewhat listen to it. But all these other people that get involved in these things that say they want to help, or they feel like this has been overshadowed and it needs to be reform in some way. When those people that everybody like to listen to for whatever, because of their business that they're in or whatever, well, then they're using that to leverage it and everything else. So that's what's going to naturally happen. So it's one of them catch-22 things. That's what other people were saying too. Well, wait a minute, what is he doing even talking about it?
What you thinking, Skrilla?
I mean, they are put in the forefront because they have influence. They are put in the forefront to use their influence to help the politician. I mean, that's just as simple as that. I mean, um, same thing, when the politician goes to the church and, the preacher has the influence over the congregation. So the preacher can't by law say, okay, vote for this guy. But if he has this person come and speak, it's kind of like unspoken support for that politician. So that's what politicians do. They recruit people that have influence over the masses to get their points across. And I mean, he may have something on that website, but Ice Cube, he admitted, he got people to help him with his, with his plan, and to articulate it on paper, and follow that type of protocol to actually get it in front of people that do make the policy for the people, right? But I mean, the man has an opinion, and he's supporting who he's supporting, and that's his right. That's what makes America America, because everybody has their right to voice their opinion and have a voice. What I question, though, is on both sides, why is it that this election is just automatically civil war? If my candidate don't get in, then it just, because that's, to me, is like inciting a riot.
Well, I think Trump have a lot to do with that. Just his personality and some of the things he'll come off and say. It'll fuel Puffy to say, if they get bucked, I wish they would. He's referring to, like, Trump supporters, if he don't get reelected, if they act like, what is he talking about? What do you mean I wish they would? What are you gonna do? And he's speaking from his mansion over there in the Hamptons with the ocean behind him. Like, he was like, I'm here now because this is God's will, and I work for it. But I'm from where the roaches and the rats crawled on my face, and I could still remember the pissy hallways, all of this stuff he was saying. And I'm just listening to this guy like he really believing in this. Like, he really believe what he's saying is going to help. It's going to help a lot of people, do something stupid, but it's not going to be intelligent people. Like somebody who's smart, I don't think they looking to have no civil war, especially when you only make up 12, 13%.
And neither on the other side. I think you always had those radicals. When they talked about assassinating. Actually, I had got into it with a coworker some years back over Obama, because he was, the white guy. He was just really Obama this and Obama that. And to be honest with you, at some point in the conversation, he was like, man, if I had a gun right now, I'd kill Obama right now. And he walked out the little break room or whatever. And you always had those crackpots. And what I would just point, out is the fact that, with all the protests and just, I say even before Trump, I can kind of see where I think the powers that be are trying to start a civil war with just the things that they're highlighting. Now, that guy that in that video that we played, they make a small fraction of the total society, right? But yet he got press time. So it's kind of weird, where all this is coming from, to me.
Yeah, kind of crazy, man. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Talk 100 with Tim Skrilla, D. Murdoch, and Jay Raphael. Tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey, so I spend a lot of time on Instagram, right? And I seen this story about this black couple, and they was talking about, or they was they promoting it? I know you saw it too, Montel. Is it polyamory?
Yeah,
Polyamory.
polyamory, yeah.
Were they promoting it? I don't know. What it is, it's well, the definition is defined as practicing or being open to intimate relationships with more than one person. Dating as a polyamorous person means you're not looking for just one person to share a romantic or sexual connection with. And so this couple was married, and they went through the video. It wasn't that long, about 8 minutes or so, and they was talking about all of their other partners. They introduced their other partners, and the guy was saying when his partner's in town, basically she stayed in the house with him and his wife. And I mean, I thought it was a pretty interesting story. But I know a lot of, I saw in the comments, a lot of people wasn't really about that. And it seems to be like a popular thing, you know? And well, first of all, how does that differ from, having multiple wives? What's the word?
Polygamy.
Yes.
I think that's one.
How's this different from the polygamous movement?
It varies because usually in a polygamy relationship, it's like a man with multiple wives, but this polymary sound like calamari. I don't know how you pronounce it. Polymary, mora or whatever. Um,
I think it's
it
polyamory.
just seems like yeah, there you go. It just seems like basically they in an open relationship, but they married, or they may not have to be married. It just seems like it's basically an open relationship. And to me, to each his own. But to me, marriage is like a religious um, thing, as far as, if you want, you're stating that, hey, this is the person I want to be with. And, together we want to follow God's laws or rules or whatever you want to say. But if you're not religious, I mean, to me, I don't see any reason for you to get married. That's just from the standpoint of the institution of marriage. Now, if you want to be in an open relationship, I respect it, because at some point, I'm all for you being who you are, and you being honest, because a lot of people do be in an open relationship, whether they know it or not. That's just facts. Um, at least this way it's done in the open, you know. I mean, wrong or right, morally, you can talk about that aspect, but I mean, if you're gonna deal with another person, I think that honesty and that genuine thing is the best way to go. You know what I'm saying? As far as just being, committed to whatever the rules y'all set. If you're not doing the religious thing or, spiritual thing.
Yeah, I just think that people they try to they just get in the mold. Each year that goes by, more and more people get in the mode of just being willing to try different things in life. It's just, and that's what it is, and that can be looked at as a good and bad thing. Actually, good thing if it's something productive, but if it's just something just to, hey, I want to get a little more wilder, I want to test the waters, or hey, you know what, I want to break tradition, so I'm just gonna just do this. Like, people just, it's just a thing of two. For some people, I just want to break tradition. I don't want to go and or I'm going to go to school or whatever the case, whether if it's from an educational level, all this other stuff, same thing with that, romance, dating. I want to break tradition. And they want, and so now that's where the whole thing comes from, where you start talking about, you go to these high schools now, I'll go and went and done some work at high school football games and different things like that. And yeah, you just openly see 15, and again, high school will start you 14 to 15, you usually, and then middle school is under that. But just even still, it's like girls and girls holding hands, and you have the same sex, you have all of those things going on, and all this experimenting, and they're solid in their convictions that this is what I like and all of this other stuff, when a lot of it is, hey, I'm trying to know different than that. There's a million and one restaurants too. I can try. I got my favorite place that I like my burgers at, or I like this particular place's fries better than over here. And I want to try everything else. And people just equate that to breaking, like I said, not doing it, breaking the traditional thing of how things may go. And I just think they're just willing to do it. Oh, what's the name of that? Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? I think that's kind of what I am anyway.
Yeah, it's like a movement though. On that video, it was a
And
lady
it's
who
just
popped
it's
up
sick
in
that,
some
yeah.
organization who had it was they had an organization. It was a movement and they was promoting it and I don't know. What do you think I mean, you think that's good for the future, or like what does it do? Does it destroy the family unit as we know it, or does it make it better? I mean, the people seem to be, I don't know, pretty okay with it. I didn't see no kids involved, but
Yeah. Well, people feel like as long as I'm okay with what I'm doing and it's allegedly not affecting anybody else, then what difference does it make? And then people from the outside that can see that will say exactly that, what you just said, which is, hey, it ain't hurting nobody, or hey, that's their form of happiness. But in reality, what's happening also is more and more, again, original, certain original standards and traditional morals and different things like that gets crossed just because people just now, as time goes on, from different things, if that's the mindset change, I guess they feel they're more brave to do it. Whatever the different reasons is, it's just more and more time go back past. Let's do all of this. As far as when it comes to the core facts of what's been successful with the family dynamics and all of that, we've seen that. I mean, this whole thing of kids, and they have a mother and father that made them, and we are different as humans, which means you have to bring both of those things to the table when it comes to giving balance to a kid. You can't replace one thing from the next.
yeah,
I am not a woman, and I don't care how. And that's another thing people figure, they're going to do, other than breaking the, like I said, breaking the traditions, is that they're going to infuse because they just feel like it as the human.
hmm
I can think like, I don't care about me being this gender. I'm going to think that I can be that way just because that's my thought and it's what I want to do. So that's what you
yeah.
have, and
I think them kind of movements though, when it becomes a movement, like some conversations should just be adult conversations, and everything
correct.
don't need to be all on social media. And kids got a lot of access to this stuff growing up, and if these kind of conversations were just like
Mm,
in your face when I was a kid, I mean, I believe things would be different. So that's why I say, well, yeah, it's probably this is gonna make the few, whether you believe in this or not, it's not a conversation for the public. If you have a movement, y'all need to be meeting in secret somewhere where it's not exposed to kids, man. I just don't think
yeah.
that's good for the future. And diseases and all that type of stuff. Just it's a lot of stuff that could come with this. Now, do you think it should be? Do you think women should be held to a different standard when it comes to these type of relationships or situation, Montel?
Well, I was going to refer to that video that we saw. So in that video, that first couple with the black man and the woman, and how they were breaking it down, in that scenario, you could see that the woman wore the pants and the man was more docile, and you know, um, and like sometimes women are more um, open with their sexuality, right? So sometimes people kind of mistake um, like the woman exploring something and making it seem like the man is benefiting from it. Say for instance, if a couple had a threesome, or what some people may call a threesome, I call it a fake threesome, where the man and the woman invite another woman into the room, a bedroom, or into their scenario, right? if the man doesn't sleep with both women, then it's technically not a threesome. So sometimes men get carried along thinking that there's I'm gonna have my cake and eat it too, so to speak, involved for it. But really, that woman, in my opinion, she like, shoot, man, I'm thinking she's gonna have a woman. And she's like, shoot, she got a me and my man, we go over here, and then he kind of made it seem like, okay, well, me and my woman, we go over here and we do our thing when she come to town. And it's just, to me, I felt like, the man didn't have any backbone, and he's just being drug around, and maybe he do get certain benefits from it, but in all actuality, um, if he had more of a backbone, then it probably would be going in a different way. And to me, man, it's just
Yeah,
like
she
sex is cheap.
initiated it, right? She initiated, like, she wanted to do it, and he was just like, whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he just going along with that ride with her, but in all actuality, some people they just want to belong to the streets, and that's fine, but we don't have to be in a relationship. That's just me personally. If you want to be a fun girl, or fun, player, whatever type chick, dude, you know, y'all want to do that, that's fine. But in all actuality, don't try to make it into this exclusive relationship with these outside boundaries, because that's when the lines get crossed. So I think it's impossible to really kind of be in that type of relationship, because I mean, you got to think, they want to give that part of themselves to the streets. You know what I'm saying? So what's sacred with that? So if we gonna play, we can just play, but we don't have to be in a committed relationship. That's just me, because anything else it's gonna be one, either the man dragging a woman into it, or the woman dragging the man into it. But it's always, like you said, someone's gonna take the lead. And again, I didn't feel like that man had any backbone in that video. And I mean, so it is what it is.
Well, that's what gets questioned too, Tel, is should men have a backbone, which is sickening to me that that's getting questioned too. What you saying right now?
On Twitch, just search NCG Media, and on YouTube, Talk 100, and Facebook, Talk 100.
Go ahead, D-Mara.
Well, no, well, I'm just saying, Tel, that's what they question right there. Is should you have a backbone? And see, you got some men conforming to this, and they purposely don't have any. They just purposely say, look, I'm just gonna go ahead and go alone and get along, and don't have any backbone. And some people questioned D Wade's backbone with his wife, Gabrielle Union, which is another whole thing.
You can throw Will Smith in there.
Hey, well, look, before y'all say that, now it's on the same thing. It's on the hookup, on the list for today. Are parents harder on girls than boys? And this was a question I got from watching the Willow Smith and the Red Table Talk, and she was talking about how Jaden was kind of babied, and they was kind of like more hard on her. She had to be on time. She had to be this, and that. But they would like sweet talk him, and he could be laid, and he could be more of a screw up, So right along with that, D, are parents harder on girls than boys? Go ahead with the D Wade though.
Well, the thing with D Wade, and I know I touched on another part of what we're going to get in with Mike Tyson, and how he decided to go ahead and check Lil Boosie for his comment. He decided to go into uncle mode and brought him on the show to set him straight. Skrill, I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
But that was just very funny. It was funny, uncomfortable. It was mixed in with a whole lot of feelings. But anyway, back to, but as far as parents, I think a natural thing is some more protection goes in for daughters is what it is. It's not, to me, a cut dry thing of I'm going to make an intention to be unfair with how it's not really from that angle in general. It comes out to be a protection thing, because that's what happens in general. Same thing like in the household. I mean, it just becomes a natural thing. It could be boys and girls in the house. It could be a full family. And the boys and as well as the father, all intention, but hey, no matter what happens, all the younger ones in the house and the girls, we got to make sure that they safe and make sure everything's all right. If it's storming outside, we ain't sending the girls out there to go get the stuff out of the car. We got to get wet and run out there real quick and grab. Like all of that stuff is just a natural thing. So it comes from those small level all the way up to the big level. Wait a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. We know what happens at 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't want my 16-year-old that just got her license, yeah, but 3 a.m. in the morning, first of all, crazy drunk drivers, all kind of crazy stuff, plus all kind of boys with bad intentions. And everybody out, period, even adults with their intentions that's roaming the streets and trying to do this, that, and the other of you know what at that time. And so the protection comes in. Now, we still got to worry about our sons too, though, fellas, as in he could be out there late too. And then back like the earlier segments, and I worry about that too, honestly, where
Yeah.
I remember my son was, he was coming home late and I never thought, I remember the first time that hit me, I don't know if you experienced that, not just yet, Jay Ralph, and I know your son is real, real young, Skrilla, but I remember the first time, I remember my son he's in the 11th grade, he was down here with me, of course, and stuff like that, and he was living with me, and I remember the first time that actually happened, where I had a moment of my mom, per se, meaning no answer, no nothing. You got a cell phone, and where you at? And it's like, and of course, you got a time where he's going, supposed to have been home. And I had just got home. I wasn't home yet, but that's not the point. I'm calling you because I'm working. But and yeah, you have a kid, and you know you're older. You don't have a babysitter because I mean, what is he? 15, 16, 15 years old, almost 16 or whatever. I'm calling you now. Answer. I get back to the house. It's 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then next thing I know, look, it was 9:45. I'm constantly calling, no answer, no nothing. And then you had that scare. That was the first time that actually happened. Because when they're younger, they're always there with you and stuff. But once that freedom break out, you're gonna experience that for the first time. And I'm be honest, it don't feel too good. So boys or girls, honestly, you still get the feeling that it's just sometimes you manage where it is. But really, you gotta be safe for the boys too. I don't worry about my son, this and the other. Listen, that Trayvon Martin thing should have scared us all. Boys and girls, it could be unsafe for some of the same reasons and different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know what? In our culture, we're kind of open. You know, we have a lot of girls getting pregnant at 14, 13,
Mm.
15. But I was talking to one of my Chaldean comrades, um, and he was telling me like basically he was like, "Nah, man, girls they be in the house at a certain time. They can't have boys over. Like they have a real strict and just community, not just the house, the community at wide. And one of their main concerns was they felt, like their women were quote unquote getting too Americanized. And, certain things they were, kind of used to being, in the fabric of their culture, they felt like it was being deteriorated with basically American ways because we're taught like, oh, I'm a woman and you can't tell me what to do with my body and I can do this and I can do that. And, the reality is you're going to get stuck with that baby and you 15 years old and you in my house and who's going to raise that kid? You know what I'm saying? So it does, it's a thin line between really, I guess, being modern and just making sense, yes, when that girl gets a certain age, you're going to protect her even more because you would typically want your daughter to grow up with the mindset that she's valuable, that her body is worth more than a cheap date and a thrill, and you want them to grow up and get married to someone that love them and is gonna cherish them and treat them as valuable as their parents treat them, or even more. But that is being kind of pushed back, and all these new ideas and things that don't work. No real history. It's just someone has an idea and they have enough influence to put it online and in
Mm.
publications and movies,
Yeah.
and just you know
Mm.
you mentioned that red table. I'm sorry, man. I used to like Jada a little bit, but just her old
She went off the rails.
the line that she's always pushing. I just
Mhm.
can't stand her viewpoints about certain things, and she speaks as if she's so authoritative and just. But when I'm watching, you know, the little tidbits that you know your family, whenever your family is on display, it's always messiness. I remember the grown man in the bed with Willow, and she's underage.
All of that.
And,
What?
oh, that's just their
Yeah.
friend.
Whoa,
and,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Craziness.
that, like every time they family is in the forefront, the light is
Oh my
shone
gosh.
They
on
definitely.
their family, it's always messiness, but yet you can be in front of the people and speak as if you're an authoritative figure on all these modern things, and then
Yeah,
you just
man.
blatantly disrespected your husband and before the world, and really emasculated the man. You know, because I can't even look at that man without feeling embarrassed for him. You know
So
what
Will
I'm saying?
Will didn't have no say in the marriage where he couldn't lead at all. He wasn't
Nah,
allowed.
I mean,
lead
according
in
to
that
them, and how it went down, he had his mess ups too, man, and which they didn't talk about. So, hey, who knows? We know Will Smith is Will Smith. He get a lot of attention out here too, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if it's just like that, I mean, to me, if I'm being disrespected, I'm out. You know, that's just flat out. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he had his mess ups, it wasn't done publicly. But then if it's toxic, regardless who messed up first or whatever, once it becomes toxic, and is it worth keeping?
Right.
You know, is it
Well,
worth staying in there?
We ain't gonna get too far off topic. I believe that parents are hard on boys and girls. It's definitely a different formula for both. There are some fundamental things that we just the same way with both of them, but we different at times too. But we hard on both of y'all. So, you know, I don't think it's just lopsided. It shouldn't be anyway. But look, man, we about to get ready to get up out of here. D-Morrow, I did want to ask you, did you see that Rajon Rondo was testing the free agent market, man? What's up with that? What does that mean for LA? What does that mean for the Lakers?
Well, they're rumored to he did opt out of his contract because he wants to get more money. Of course, when they do that, that never means, because Anthony Davis technically had to do that too in order to, because remember the way he was signed on for 1 year just to get him over to LA. So what happens is the same what Rondo's thing. Of course, when you start proving yourself, or you're trying to say, okay, hey, I was willing to, bet on myself and take a step back and just say, okay, hey, let me reinvent myself and all of those things. That's fine, and adjust. Same thing like with the White.
I don't know what happened to
Still here?
D-Morrow. Yeah, nah, he looked like he went mute for a minute. But yo, you listening to the Talk 100 podcast. That's what we do on Friday nights. We was just going out with D-Morrow Sports Take. Check him out, Real Sports Time with D-Morrow on YouTube and Instagram. Yes, sir.
Sorry about that, I got interrupted. So no, but in a nutshell, I think he's going to listen and meet with the Clippers, because they're the ones who are going to come after him and things like that, to at least see if he's interested. And I just believe that if the Lakers definitely, because they have the room to kind of probably match what it is he's asking for, the amount he'll ask for on another deal, on another year or another 2-year thing. I believe that's what Rob Pelinka said, that they would have whatever it is. So they're talking back and forth right now. So what it really comes down to is what the relationship is at this point with the organization, and then now LeBron and everybody on the team. And hey, if we get some other pieces in here, could we go ahead and run things back? And should we go ahead and try to do that, which would actually cement his case for sure. I personally already think Rondo will go into the Hall of Fame anyway, but him going there, that'll definitely help. Him doing that, and they get a chance to do a back-to-back scenario. Oh yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Talk 100 every Friday night, 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., somewhere up in there. This is how we do. Holla at us. Check us out. Hit the website. Share it. Like it. You know what I'm saying? Share it with your friends. subscribe. We out.
Oh yeah.